A lot has happened since April 18th, the day that I was selected to be the superintendent lead pastor of the Oregon Ministry Network. And I want to catch you up on what we've been doing. I know many of you have asked, you've wondered what in the world's going on, what's the next steps, and we have been doing a lot. The first couple of months we spent our time primarily meeting with the staff, the Oregon Ministry Network staff, met with Pastor Bill on multiple occasions to help prepare me for the next seed and to help me with all of that. And by the way, I'm so grateful to Pastor Bill. Most of you know that there was a 60-day period there. So from April 18th through June 13th, Pastor Bill was still in that lead position. On the 14th of June, I took over. We've been trying to look at the landscape of the Oregon Ministry Network and determine current realities. You know, every leader in every season is dealt a hand that they have to play. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the past and it's not saying much about the future. It's just simply saying right now in this season, we have to deal with this particular hand. I think it was Jim Collins in one of his books, in one of his books said that we need to be brutally honest about current realities. So I have had meetings with all of my staff, with our finance committee, with Pastor Bill, Pastor Boyd, the elders, the presbyters of our church, with Doug Clay and with other leaders. And I said, how do we navigate going forward and do it in a way that's appropriate with current realities? We discovered that we have less churches right now than we've had in a number of years. We're under 180 actual churches. We have fewer credentialed ministers right now. We do believe we have some very healthy churches, and we're excited about that. We've also discovered that the income for the network, which is primarily network partnership or shared responsibility for some, and the minister's tithes, it is pretty much flatlined. And in some ways it might be going down just a little bit. Our reserves are certainly being depleted. And the reason for that is the cost of doing business is so expensive. You know that. You know it's that way in your own life. You know it's that way in our churches. And so we have seen admin costs go up while the rest of them have either stayed flat or actually declining, which has forced us to make some adjustments. The elders and I met, the presbyters, a week or two ago, and we discussed what would the future look like? What do we need to do? And it was determined that instead of 3 full-time executive positions, that we are going to reduce the 3 full-time positions to 2 full-time positions. That would be the superintendent, the lead pastor, and that would be the secretary and treasurer, would both be full-time positions, and the assistant superintendent position later on would be a part-time position. We were happy to discover that our current bylaws already allows this provision. It allows that the secretary and treasurer or the assistant superintendent, either of those can be full or part-time, and the presbytery makes that decision as to how that looks. So we're going to have 2 full-time positions going forward. You received the announcement from Pastor Boyd saying that he was going to retire. He's assured me that this had nothing to do with my election as the superintendent, but he feels that the timing is right. After 27 years serving as the secretary and treasurer, he is going to finish that through the end of the year. But in October, the 1st of October, we're going to bring on his replacement. And October, November, and December, Pastor Boyd has offered, along with his team, to train the new person and to put them in place, because that's the busy time of the year in that office. And he will be here for October, November, and December through credential times, budget times, end of the year reports, all of the things that he needs to do. And then Pastor Boyd will step aside the 1st of January from that role. He will maintain his role as the missions director until the next summit, Summit 24, and that would be the normal rotation. At that time, the presbyters will present another name for you to consider and to vote on at our summit. The assistant superintendent role, which will be part-time going forward, will not begin until sometime before Summit of 2024. So we'll talk about that more in the future. The big question is how are we going to divide portfolios? How can we take 2 positions where we've had 3 in the past? How can we do that with 2? We think we have great executive assistants. We think we have a great team in place. We think with the use of electronics and working remotely, and if we remove the missions part from the secretary and treasurer position, we feel like it's doable going forward as long as we would adjust some portfolios. The presbytery and myself have decided that we are going to ask Brian Eno to come and replace Boyd Powers as the lead pastor of administration, the secretary and treasurer. The call right now would be that he would start the 1st of October and work with Boyd and his team through the end of the year, and then after that he would be on his own. So we're excited about this. We're excited, and we think that we can do this without compromising our prophetic mandate from God, which is to develop effective leaders and build healthy churches and ministries. I'm excited to have the support of the presbytery in this. I'm excited that God is opening up doors and that Brian has agreed to come. I want to say thank you to all of the people in Brian's life, his wife, and to his pastor, Mark Robinson, where he currently serves, and to others for their support and their help in this transition. So we're excited about that. A couple of other announcements that I want to make for you. First of all, at Summit, on the evening that I was elected, I said that we would do our best to properly honor Pastor Bill and Joy for their 16 years of tremendous leadership. That's going to happen on the first night of our intermission in October. You can look at the dates on our calendar and figure that out. We are, by the way, going to be in Seaside this year. That will be for registered guests only, and the reason for that is we want to dedicate that entire first night to honoring Pastor Bill and Joy. But that includes a dinner and then a party afterwards, and you'll hear some more about that in the future, but put that on the calendar and plan to be with us at that time. Another announcement that has come out just recently is that Pastor Larry Steller and Dolores, who have served as our pastoral care ministers for about 10 years now, they've announced their retirement at the end of the year as well. I know that Pastor Larry has informed his pastoral care team about this, but most of you are hearing about this for the first time. We are in prayer about who the next person is to lead this ministry. We have some conversations going on, and as soon as those are nailed down, we'll make that announcement. But we are excited about what God will do in the next season. By the way, I want to say thank you to Pastor Larry and Dolores. You know, they've done a lot of things we know about and a lot of things we won't know about until we get to heaven, because they have so helped us. A couple of other questions that I've been asked is, what about women in ministry and what about coaching? Cindy is going to assume the role of leading our women in ministry. As you know, this is a ministry targeted for women in ministry rather than women's ministry as a whole. That will continue. Cindy has a vision trip that was already scheduled that she will be leading in September. That's already full and taken care of, and then in the spring you can anticipate the conference that has been in the past. In terms of coaching, for 16 years we've had a culture of coaching. We are not going to change the culture of coaching. We will always be about coaching and mentoring, because we think it's a huge part of developing the effective leaders that we're trying to develop. Looking forward, Cindy and I want to say thank you for allowing us to be in this position. We think we're ready. We think that God has put us here for this time. But I have a great team around me that Pastor Bill left to me. I have a great group of elders around me that have your heart and my heart in mind, and we desperately want to reach Oregon and the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. I can promise you this: we will never compromise the standards and the convictions that the Assemblies of God is founded on. We are going to move forward in developing effective leaders, building healthy churches and ministries, but beyond that, we are going to always remember that our number one goal is to impact our world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Pray for us as we lead, pray for us as we go forward, and pray for us as we serve you. Thank you.